Toronto Raptors beat the Miami Heat 112-91. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Raptors Rundown. I'm your host, Yusuf Boss, and there's still no video. I'm recording this audio version because I barely have any sort of Wi-Fi in this hotel right now. Hopefully, I think Molly's going to be doing the next episode against Washington. But after that, I will be in beautiful Dubai, so the quality of the videos should be much better, and hopefully it's not just my voice talking over some highlights. But luckily for this episode, I'm an absolute sicko, and I was up at around 5:30 in the morning, and I did catch the majority of the second half for the Toronto Raptors game against the Miami Heat, and I'm glad to say that the losing streak is finally over. I will say this, playing the Miami Heat is probably the best team to play as of right now because they're going through something similar to us. They're going through their own struggles right now, and they are now on a 5-game losing streak, so good luck to them. But this was the perfect game for us, perfect game for Scotty to get back on track. Perfect game for us to finally bring back some sort of identity that has been missing in these past 2 games, and a good bounce back after, to be quite frank, embarrassing loss against the Nets. But honestly, I say embarrassing. The Brooklyn Nets are the best defensive team in the month of December, which is something that I don't think a single person on this planet Earth would have predicted at any point this season. I'm not going to give a main game recap per se, because obviously did not watch all of the game, wasn't as attentive in the third and fourth quarter because it was goddamn 5:30 in the morning. But I will say some of my takeaways after watching the highlights and looking at some of the players, how they played, looking at some of the stats, and yeah, I'm gonna basically go over that. It might be a shorter episode for today. Ocho Abaji, it seems like everything's going wrong for him. I saw that one play where he got blocked by the goddamn rim, so it's unfortunate because his minutes are a lot of effort. The defense is still there. It's just the shots not falling. The offense looks much worse than it was last season. But to be quite honest, his minutes are worth having if Grady Dick is not out there. More on him later, but it was a great game from Scotty Barnes. There was no settling. Beautiful game. He didn't really punish our lack of size. He ended up playing a couple of big man minutes, but he was incredible tonight. He had 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. No stocks, which is crazy for the stock leader, but just an overall incredibly dominant game. 7 for 8 from the free throw line, only shot 1 3. That's what I like to see. If the 3 isn't falling, you have other ways to score. He was incredible tonight, scoring in the paint. Mamu was everywhere tonight. It felt like Sandro really struggles whenever he got inserted into the starting lineup, but as of lately, with the Perla, he's really starting to find his own starting. He dropped 14.6 rebounds, 7 assists, which I believe is a season high, and a steal. So he did a little bit of everything tonight. It was a plus 19 tonight, so he was incredible. Speaking of these incredible players, man, my player of the game has to be called Murray Boyles. He had 9 offensive rebounds tonight on a team that was undersized at every single stretch of the way. He had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals. He was so dominant on the boards tonight. We need to run more lineups with him and Scotty Barnes out there because they're both so capable of guarding 5s. One thing that teams will really pry on us when it comes to some of these lineups where we have either Mamu or Jakob out there, they'll bring in the pick and roll when Scotty's guarding a guard or whatever, or whoever's guarding it. They'll bring in the pick and roll, bring the center out, try switching him onto the guard, and Mamu's not the best defender. Jakob has the lateral quickness of a goddamn snail. So when you have Scotty Barnes and Colin Murray Boyles out there, it really adds to your ability to switch onto the ball carrier. Another candidate for player of the game was Jamison Battle. He was incredible tonight. He's 4 for 4 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3. He had 11 points tonight, 2 steals. He only had 15 minutes, which, I'll say this, the campaign for the Jamison Battle minutes, it really does remind me of early, Matt Thomas, when Nick Nurse refused to play him, and all the fans were getting so frustrated, saying, yo, we need more shooting. We have one of the best shooters in the league. Get him out there. And to be completely honest, if we need shooting, and this is a great segue into the terrible player of the game, if we need shooting and Grady Dick is not shooting well, then Jamison Battle needs his minutes. I'll just say this when it comes to Grady Dick. All he is right now is a hustle player that sometimes gets deflections. But he's a shooter that can't shoot, and he's a defensive liability. So when his shot is not falling, we're losing every single minute that he is out there. He was the only negative on out of the entire team tonight. It was so bad. And when I talk about Grady Dick, right? It's like his value is going lower and lower as we go on. These inconsistent, streaky shooters will have a good game here and there, but it feels like Grady's good games are just like, what was his last game? Good game, I guess the Miami Heat where he had a couple of threes, but even that game wasn't that impressive. It feels like he hasn't had a genuinely good or effective game in a month. And if you want to talk about his hustle, I mean, Jameson Battle hustles defensively, so there's literally no excuse for Grady Dick to get minutes over him. Brandon Ingram finally cooled off today. I'm not worried though. They put a lot of attention on him. There was actually a cool moment in the post-game interview where Darko Rakovic is getting flamed for it, but he said that Brandon Ingram, he wanted to put Brandon Ingram back on for Jameson Battle, but Brandon Ingram said, "Nah, he's on fire right now. Keep me on the bench." So, so I love to see the unselfishness from our star player, and thank God, because if Darko Rakovic took Jameson Battle off while he's on fire, I would have been calling for his firing, I'm gonna be honest. Another inefficient game from Emmanuel quickly. His defensive struggles, I feel like, are really continuing to shine. I saw a comparison between a lineup of, I think it was Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Sandro Mamukelashvili, and Colin Murray Boyles. I saw the comparison between those lineups with Emmanuel quickly as the point guard and Jamal Shead as the point guard. With Emmanuel quickly, our defensive, offensive, and our net ratings were all poor, but then with Shead, they went the exact opposite way. So just something to know us on when it comes to the impact. Trade deadline's coming up. That's a really big contract that I know a lot of people are upset about. So keep an eye on for Emmanuel quickly. Maybe we look towards upgrading the point guard spot. Maybe they believe in Jamal Shead. I personally wouldn't, because I don't think he's ready offensively yet to be a starter in this league. But yeah, I think Emmanuel quickly is definitely a name to look for when it comes to the trade market. Speaking of the trade market, I'm tired of Jakob Pearl being out. Trade him. We got lucky that the Heat didn't abuse us on the boards. We got lucky that the Heat didn't abuse the size advantage. But I'm tired of playing without a 7-footer on this roster. Trade Jakob Poeltl. If you are afraid of Anthony Davis's injury issues, my God, your current center is having those even worse injury issues. So clearly, it's not that much of a risk trading for him. So yeah, I'm done with the Jakob Poeltl experiment. Get him out. Some key stats tonight: we had 15 offensive boards. We were on the fast break with 17 points. A great fast break team, the Miami Heat are, so it was great that we outscored them in that aspect. Our next game is against the Washington Wizards. They're on poor form right now, but they have proven to create close games in the past. They had close games against Cleveland, Boston, a bunch of teams this season. In fact, they were competing with us for a little bit at one point when we played them in the NBA Cup until we blew them out. But they're a 5-win team, you know what I mean? Don't let them get going. Blow them out early. Take care of business. And don't be like the Memphis Grizzlies or the Indiana Pacers or almost the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got lucky because Donovan Mitchell bailed them out. Or the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, don't be like any of these teams. Don't let them be competitive. Just go out there, take care of business, and get the job done. You should have done it against Brooklyn. You're lucky that you're getting excused a little because Brooklyn's actually playing really good basketball right now. But yeah, you cannot lose to the Washington Wizards. There's actually no excuse for that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, hit the subscribe button, comment down below what your prediction is for the Raptors by the end of the year. Do you think we will end the year on a winning streak? Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.